Have you ever looked at someone else's life and thought, wow, they are so far ahead of me, like they found the secret door to success and you are still checking the map upside down?
Yeah, and the funny thing is, most of us do that quietly. We smile, we act normal, but inside we're thinking, okay, why does everyone seem to know what they're doing except me?
Today, we're talking about success, but not the shiny, perfect kind you see online. We mean real success, the kind that happens in normal kitchens, on tired mornings, and after a very messy Monday.
And maybe the biggest question is not, how do I become successful fast? Maybe it is, how do I build a life that actually feels good while I'm growing?
Exactly. And while we're getting started, if you enjoy learning English through real conversations like this one, please subscribe to Say It Real, give a like, and hit the notification bell.
That helps you stay with us for more natural conversations, and it helps this channel reach more people who want to listen, understand, and speak with more confidence.
Okay, let's open the big question. What is success? Because people use that word like it means one thing, but honestly, it can mean 10 different things before breakfast.
For some people, success means money. For others, it means freedom. For someone else, it might mean getting through a hard year and still being kind. That counts too.
I love that because sometimes we only respect success when it looks big. A new job, a new house, a big award, a beautiful photo. But quiet success is still success.
Right. Quiet success might be waking up earlier for a week. It might be answering an email you were avoiding. It might be saying no to something that drains your energy.
That email example felt personal. I have definitely stared at one message for 3 days like it was a wild animal in my inbox.
Same. And then when you finally answer it, it takes 4 minutes. But the mental drama before that? 3 business weeks.
That's why success is not only about the result, it's also about the relationship we have with effort. Can we keep showing up even when the task is not exciting?
That's a good point. A lot of people think successful people are always motivated, but maybe they're not. Maybe they just learned how to act even when motivation is low.
Yes, motivation is like weather. Some days it's sunny and easy. Some days it's cold, cloudy, and your brain says, no thank you, I live under a blanket now.
And that's where habits come in. Habits aren't very glamorous, but they're powerful. A habit is like a small vote for the person you are becoming.
I like that image. Every small action is a vote. Studying for 10 minutes is a vote. Taking a walk is a vote. Practicing a sentence out loud is a vote.
And missing one day doesn't destroy the election, you know? One tired day doesn't mean you failed. It just means you're human.
That's important because many people quit not because the goal is impossible, but because they miss one day and think, well, I ruined everything.
Which is so dramatic of us.
Very dramatic. We turn one small mistake into a whole movie. The title is, I Forgot to Practice, so my future is over.
But real growth is kinder than that. You can restart. You can return. You can say, okay, yesterday wasn't great. Today, I'll do one small thing.
And small is not weak. Small is often the only reason big things happen. Big change usually hides inside repeated small actions.
That sounds simple, but it is actually hard to believe. Because we want results now. We want the visible change, the clear proof, the big moment.
Yes, and real progress can be boring at first. You do something for a few days and nothing seems different. Then you keep going and slowly your life starts to shift.
It is like planting something. You water the soil, and for a while you just see dirt. Very inspiring dirt, but still dirt.
Exactly. And if you stop watering because you cannot see the plant yet, you never get the plant. Patience is not passive. Patience is active.
That is a strong line. Patience is active. It means you continue while the results are still invisible.
And it also means you stop comparing your hidden beginning to someone else's public middle. That comparison is unfair from the start.
Social media makes that really difficult. You see someone's best photo, best news, best angle, best lighting, and then you compare it to your ordinary Tuesday.
And your ordinary Tuesday has laundry, stress, family messages, school, work, bills, and maybe a sandwich you ate too fast while standing up.
I have eaten many standing sandwiches. Honestly, some of my most realistic life decisions happen next to the kitchen counter.
That's real life. And success has to work inside real life, not inside some perfect fantasy schedule where nothing interrupts you.
So let's make this practical. Imagine someone wants to improve their English listening. They feel excited on day 1, but by day 4, they're tired. What should they do?
I would tell them to lower the starting line. Not lower the dream, but lower the starting line. Make the first step so easy that you can actually do it.
Like listening for 5 minutes instead of promising yourself 1 full hour?
Exactly. 5 minutes every day can become 10. 10 can become 20. But 0 minutes plus guilt usually becomes more 0 minutes.
Oof, 0 minutes plus guilt. That is a recipe I know too well.
We all do, but guilt is not a good teacher for long-term growth. It can make you move once, but it rarely helps you build trust with yourself.
Trust with yourself. I love that. Because when you keep small promises to yourself, you start to think, wait, maybe I can depend on me.
And that feeling is huge. Success is not only about what other people see. It's also about what you believe about yourself when no one is watching.
Let me give a real-life example. I used to think a successful morning had to be perfect. Wake up early, exercise, read, drink water, write a plan, maybe become a completely new person before 8 a.m.
That's not a morning routine. That's a small personal Olympics.
Exactly. And when I failed, I felt like the whole day was broken. So now I keep it simple. Water, one clear task, and no phone for the first few minutes.
That sounds much more realistic. A good routine should help your life, not become another reason to judge yourself.
Yes, and the first task doesn't have to be huge. Sometimes I choose one thing that will make the rest of the day lighter.
Like washing the dishes, sending the message, reviewing notes, or preparing your bag before leaving the house.
Exactly. It is not glamorous, but it creates momentum. And momentum is such a useful word because it means movement that becomes easier to continue.
Momentum is what happens after the first step. Before you start, everything feels heavy. After you begin, even a little, the next step often feels less impossible.
That is so true. Starting is the wall. Continuing is the hallway.
Nice. And sometimes we stare at the wall for so long that we forget there is a hallway behind it.
Another piece of success is support. I think people try to do everything alone because they believe asking for help makes them look weak.
But asking for help is often a sign of intelligence. It means you care about learning more than protecting your pride.
Pride can be expensive. You waste time pretending you understand when you could just say, "Can you explain that in a different way?"
Yes, and a good question can save you hours. It can also open a conversation, build a connection, and make the problem feel less scary.
This is true for success in work, in study, in health, and in language learning. We grow faster when we are not afraid to be learners.
And being a learner means being comfortable with awkward moments. Not loving them, maybe, but surviving them.
Right. Nobody enjoys feeling confused, but confusion is often the doorway before understanding.
That is a beautiful way to say it. Confusion is not the enemy, it is information. It tells you, here is where you need more practice.
And mistakes do the same thing. A mistake is not a sign that you are hopeless. It's a little arrow pointing to the next thing to improve.
Unless the mistake is putting salt in your coffee. That arrow points directly to sadness.
Fair. Some mistakes are just breakfast emergencies. But even then, you learn to label the containers better.
That is success too. Learning from the small disasters without turning them into identity. You made a mistake. You are not a mistake.
That line matters. You made a mistake. You are not a mistake. Many people need to hear that because they speak to themselves very harshly.
Yes, the voice inside can be so cruel. It says things we would never say to a friend.
And maybe part of success is changing that voice, not making it fake or overly sweet, but making it fair.
Fair sounds like, this was difficult and I can try again. Or, I did not do my best today, but I can choose one better action now.
That feels calmer. It gives you a next step instead of just a heavy feeling. Exactly. Shame often freezes people. Responsibility moves people. There's a big difference.
Let's talk about another real challenge, being busy, because a lot of advice sounds nice until your day is full from morning to night.
That is true. Not everyone has 3 quiet hours to work on a dream. Some people have 10 minutes in a bus, 15 minutes before bed, or a lunch break.
And those small pieces of time still matter. You can review words, listen to a short conversation, plan tomorrow, stretch, read one page, or write one sentence.
The secret is to stop waiting for perfect time. Perfect time rarely arrives wearing a nice jacket and holding a calendar.
I wish it did. Imagine perfect time knocking at the door like, "Hello, I brought motivation and clean laundry."
That would be amazing. But usually we make progress inside imperfect time with noise in the background and a little tiredness in our body.
And that means success needs flexibility. A rigid plan breaks easily. A flexible plan can bend and continue.
So what does a flexible plan look like?
It might have three versions: the full version, the normal version, and the tiny version. On a great day, you do the full version. On a normal day, you do enough. On a hard day, you do the tiny version.
Ah, love that. Like for English practice, 4 version, 30 minutes. Normal version, 10 minutes. Tiny version, repeat 3 useful sentences out loud.
Exactly. And the tiny version protects the habit. It keeps the chain alive without pretending every day is the same.
That makes success feel more human. Not easy, but human.
And human success includes rest. We have to say that clearly because some people confuse success with constant pressure.
Yes, like if you're not busy every second, you're somehow falling behind. That idea is exhausting.
Rest is not laziness. Rest is maintenance. A tired brain does not learn well. A tired body does not focus well. A tired heart does not stay inspired for long.
That is why balance matters. Work, rest, relationships, health, learning, fun, they're all part of one life.
And if one part takes everything, the other parts start asking for attention in uncomfortable ways.
Like when you ignore sleep and then your brain turns into mashed potatoes by 3 p.m.
Exactly. And then you read the same sentence 6 times and still have no idea what it said.
We've all been there. So success cannot only be do more. Sometimes success is stop, breathe, and protect your energy.
That also connects to saying no. Saying no is difficult, especially when you want to be helpful or you don't want to disappoint people.
But every yes uses time. Every yes uses energy. And if you say yes to everything, you may accidentally say no to your own priorities.
That is powerful. Saying no can protect your yes.
Exactly. It doesn't mean being rude. It can be kind and clear. I can't do that today. I need time. That doesn't work for me right now.
And that kind of boundary can become a form of success because you're choosing your direction instead of being pulled everywhere.
Let's bring in the comparison problem again, because I think this steals so much joy.
It does. Comparison can be useful only if it teaches you something practical, but often it just makes you feel behind, even when you're actually making progress.
I think the hardest part is when someone your age or someone from your school or someone with a similar background seems to be doing better.
Yes, because then your mind says, they did it, so why haven't I? But you still don't know their whole story, their support, their timing, their private struggles.
Also, you do not need their life. You need your life, but with more intention, more courage, and maybe less scrolling at midnight.
The midnight scrolling did not need to be mentioned so directly.
It had to be said. The phone is like a tiny door to 1,000 distractions.
And distraction is not only a time problem, it's an attention problem. Your attention is one of your most valuable resources.
That is why focus feels rare now. When you can focus on one thing for a while, you are doing something powerful.
A simple trick is to make the good action easier and the distracting action harder. Put the book on the table. Put the phone across the room. Open the lesson before you sit down.
That is smart, because willpower is not always strong. Your environment can help you or fight you.
Exactly. Do not design your space like you are your own enemy. Design it like you are helping future you.
Future you is very grateful, by the way. Future you loves when present you prepares things.
Future me especially loves when present me charges the laptop.
A true act of self-love.
Another thing I want to mention is purpose. A goal tells you what you want. Purpose tells you why it matters.
That difference is huge. I want to improve my English is a goal. I want to connect with more people and feel confident in conversations is a purpose.
And when you remember the purpose, the practice feels less empty. You're not just repeating words, you're building a bridge to a bigger life.
Beautiful. And that bigger life may be travel, study, friendship, a new job, or simply the feeling of understanding more of the world.
Now, let's talk about failure without making it scary, because failure sounds like a final word, but often it's just feedback with a bad reputation.
Feedback with a bad reputation. I like that. Failure tells you something did not work in that form, at that time, with that method.
It does not mean nothing will ever work. It means you adjust. You change the plan, ask for advice, practice differently, or rest and return.
And sometimes, failure teaches you what you do not actually want. That can be useful too.
True. You might chase a goal because it looks impressive, then discover it doesn't fit your values or your real life.
That is why reflection matters. Not overthinking every little thing, but checking in with yourself. Is this still important to me? Is this direction healthy?
Reflection is like cleaning the windows of your mind. Suddenly, you can see where you're going.
That was poetic. I respect it.
Thank you. I had one poetic moment and I used it well.
And reflection can be simple. At the end of the day, ask 3 questions. What worked? What was difficult? What is one small thing I can do tomorrow?
That's not a heavy journal session. It's just a conversation with yourself.
And over time, those conversations build self-awareness. You start to notice your patterns.
Like, I always lose focus when I work without a clear first step. Or I feel better when I move my body before studying.
Exactly. Then you can stop blaming yourself and start designing better systems.
That might be one of the biggest ideas today. Do not only chase goals, build systems that make your goals more likely.
A system is the routine, environment, and plan that supports your goal. A goal is the destination. A system is how you travel.
And if your system is too heavy, you will avoid it. If it is clear and simple, you are more likely to return to it.
So success becomes less about one big heroic moment and more about many ordinary returns.
I like that. Many ordinary returns. Returning to practice, returning to patience, returning to your reason.
And maybe returning to yourself too, because sometimes we chase success in a way that makes us forget who we are.
That is deep, but true. If your version of success makes you constantly anxious, lonely, or ashamed, it may need to be questioned.
Success should challenge you, yes, but it should not erase you.
Yes, it should help you become more alive, more capable, more connected, not just more impressive.
And sometimes the most successful person in the room is not the loudest one. It might be the person with peace, discipline, kindness, and a clear sense of direction.
That kind of success is not always easy to photograph, but you can feel it.
You can feel it in how someone treats others, how they handle problems, and how they keep going without needing applause every time.
Okay, before we move into our word tour, let's create a simple success plan someone can use today.
Good idea. Step 1. Choose one area of life. Not everything, just one. Maybe English, health, study, money, friendship, or confidence.
Step 2. Choose one small action you can repeat. Make it so clear that there is no confusion. For example, I will listen to one conversation after breakfast.
Step 3. Prepare the environment. Put the headphones nearby. Save the episode. Write the plan where you can see it.
Step 4. Expect imperfect days. Decide your tiny version before you need it. That way, a hard day does not become a quitting day.
Step 5. Celebrate progress, even when it feels small, not with a huge party every time, but with a real moment of recognition.
Because your brain needs to notice that effort matters. A small celebration says, "This is who I am becoming."
I love that. And now let's slow down for our word tour. This is where we revisit useful words and phrases from today's conversation.
Yes, take a breath, relax your shoulders, and listen carefully. These are words you can use in real conversations about goals, growth, and everyday success.
First word, success. Success means reaching something meaningful to you. It doesn't have to be famous or huge. Example, for me, success means having time for my family and my goals.
Next word, goal. A goal is something you want to achieve. Example, my goal this month is to practice speaking for 5 minutes every day.
Next word, habit. A habit is an action you repeat often, sometimes without thinking. Example, reading before bed became a relaxing habit.
Next phrase, show up. To show up means to be present and do the work even when you don't feel perfect. Example, I was tired, but I showed up and practiced anyway.
Next word, consistency. Consistency means doing something regularly over time. Example, consistency helped me improve more than one long study session.
Next word, progress. Progress means movement forward. It can be small. Example, I still make mistakes, but I can feel my progress.
Next word, setback. A setback is a problem that slows you down, but does not have to stop you. Example, getting sick was a setback, but I started again slowly.
Next phrase, compare yourself to others. This means looking at other people's lives and judging your own life by theirs. Example, I feel calmer when I stop comparing myself to others.
Next word, balance. Balance means giving attention to different important parts of life. Example, I want success at work, but I also need balance and rest.
Next word, momentum. Momentum is the energy that builds after you start moving. Example, after I cleaned my desk, I got momentum and finished my homework.
Next word, purpose. Purpose is the deeper reason behind your goal. Example, my purpose for learning English is to connect with people from different places.
And our final phrase, tiny version. This means the smallest possible form of a habit. Example, on a busy day, my tiny version is listening to English for 2 minutes.
That was our word tour. Slow, useful, and connected to real life. Try using one or two of those words today in your own sentence.
And as we come to the end, I think the biggest takeaway is this. Success is not a race against everyone else. It is a relationship with your own direction.
Yes, you do not need to become a completely different person overnight. You can begin with one honest step, one small promise, and one return after a difficult day.
And when you do that again and again, you build trust. You build skill. You build a life that feels less random and more intentional.
So maybe tonight, before you sleep, ask yourself, what is one small action that would make tomorrow better? Not perfect, just better.
Then do that action. Keep it simple. Make it repeatable. Let it become part of who you are.
And if this conversation helped you think about success in a new way, please subscribe to Say It Real. Give a like and hit the notification bell.
We are really glad you spent this time with us. Keep listening, keep practicing, and remember, fluency starts with real conversations.